Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite program right here on KTV2, To The Point. Tonight, we are going to focus on one of the main things in the world, which is women. And women in Kuwait and everywhere else is half of the society. That's why we are going to talk about how they manage their houses, their jobs, and how to compete with others and prove that they are all the same with women, maybe a lot better than more. That's why tonight we are going to talk about the role of women in society that has been greatly overseen in the last few decades, but now are coming to more perspective to people. In the early days, women were seen as wives who were intended to cook, clean, and take care of the kids. They were not allowed to vote, while men took care of having jobs and paying any bills that had to be paid. Soon enough, it caught on that women should have a bigger role than what people thought women should have. Women should have strikes and go on marches to prove that they should have rights just like everyone else. They face discriminations like no others, and also other races that they faced. Women would voice their opinion in any way possible so that they could reach their goal, and they did it. Women have made vast improvements in their lifestyle in the past few decades, from holding positions in governments to simple things like getting a job and supporting themselves. Women are faced for more responsibility than men, but also are faced with a lot more problems than men because they are looked at like a woman, a barrier of children. We have a lot more, so now we have a quick report that shows women influence globally. Enjoy. Seroptimist, it means best for women. Seroptimists are almost 100 years old, and their mission is still as valid as today as it was, and also formed in 1929. That was 1921, long time ago. And also women need to work together to use their power and strength of their education and experience to better their lives of who are less privileged. And when we bring equity to women and girls, we are also freeing men of cultural burdens that are inherited because they are males. We are about being a global voice for women and girls because we do things on local and regional level and have seroptimists lobbyists at the United States and also United Nations who are report these challenges up to an international level. It is at the UN level that the treaties and policies such as sustainable development goals are set to guide countries' human rights and development goals. Often these become the basis for development loans and grants, so they have very tangible outcomes. That's why we are right here at KTV2 and the program To The Point. We have a very distinguished guest, and she is the president of Soroptimist. This is a Latin word for women and for the best. That's correct?
Right. That's right.
Thank you so much for being with us here at the program. And also, you are the Director, Project and Strategy for Development for Sheikh Al-Jaber Al-Ahmed Cultural Center.
Yes, that's
Dar
right.
Al-Obra, that's what we call it in the state of Kuwait. And also, you are the president for the Soroptimist.
Yes.
Looking good care of the men and the women together.
We have Soroptimisters because many successful women owe their success to the support of their fathers and brothers and husbands and sons.
Now, the main question that most of us here, including me, wants to know, what exactly do you mean? How did you get involved in the Soroptimist?
Well, actually, it happened a long time ago when I was 14 years old in high school. So a group of Soroptimists, which are business and professional women, in my hometown of Manhattan Beach, California, started a youth club. And I became involved in that, and I was there for 4 years in high school. And it really helped project planning. It helped us to, we had elections, we had our own board, we had our own projects, we did budgeting. So you got
attracted by the organization itself?
Yes, yes.
Through back in about, what is it, the South Beach in California?
Yeah,
not too far from San Diego.
California, that's right. About 2 hours north of San Diego and about an hour south of Santa Monica.
Yeah. Now, the connection between United States and Kuwait and Soroptimist. Let's take it to another level. Do we have it here in the GCC area?
Yes, actually, the first club was started in Dubai.
Dubai.
It was started in April, about 6 months before we started our club in October. So Dubai was first. They had a group of German women come down and interact with some of the women down in Dubai, and they started the club there.
When you say a club, that means that you have objectives,
yes,
and you have goals you want to reach.
Absolutely.
What exactly that you are going to accomplish after you have established this sorority? You call it sorority or no?
Well, Soro is the same word for it means
it's
women.
The same
so
thing.
Sorority,
what exactly you want to
Soroptimist.
accomplish in this thing?
Well, so there's 80,000 women in Soroptimist all over the world, and we all work on the same 5 different action areas. So we have an action area that's about education. So depending on where you are in the world, your educational programs would be different. Economic empowerment, about women, training women to go back to work, training women how to do a CV, a resume, helping them find jobs. We also look at ending violence against women, so abuse, and it can be in any form of abuse, like verbal, physical, emotional. And then we look at environmental sustainability, because in some of our areas, women are subjected to maybe earthquakes or tornadoes, or even refugee status. We help globally with that. And then also with health issues. So we work on different, raising money and awareness on different health issues as well.
So you think in the world that men are mistreating the women?
I think that there's historically been cases where men have mistreated women, and I think if you look at some of the reasons why, there's different laws that allow men to do this, but also there's a lot of burdens placed on men to take care of families, and there's a lot of men-on-men violence. And so what happens in certain cultures, they have violent cultures, and the men come home and take it out on the women and children because they're less able to protect themselves. So it really depends. It's hard to make a generalization, but yeah, we do have violence.
Do you have a certain criteria for a woman to join this club, Probably that she has to do some tests or something like that. How about some physical tests?
No push-ups.
Okay.
No, actually you have to be over 21 years and
Okay.
you should be either a working or a professional businesswoman. You can also be retired. If there's women who are older and are retired, we take retired women. The beauty of the club is we are a network. So each club invites people in because of their professionalism. So we can only have like one cardiologist. We can have many different doctors, but they have to be specialized in one field. We can't have like 10 cardiologists. We have one cardiologist, one corporate lawyer, one advertising executive. So we have a diversity within our club that allows us to quickly respond and put together projects and raise money to actually do things.
In your own opinion, where do you think that the women in the world are more oppressed? Globally, I'm talking about in the world. You think that you need to focus more on them and educate the society that the women represent half of the society
That's
itself?
right. We hold up half the sky.
I know, maybe more. No, honestly, maybe more.
Maybe.
Yes.
It's open to debate. I think that you find when women are uneducated and a lot of times live in rural areas where they don't have access to legal care or they don't have access to different kinds of community services that help them realize what their strengths are or their legal rights are. I'll give you an example. In Rwanda, they had a genocide, which we all know about, which was very unfortunate. And the Seroptimist
Could you hold this
Sure.
thought, because I have a phone call from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we have live Balsam Al Ayoub. Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us.
Hi, Ahmed, how are you? And hi, Dr. Stacey.
Hi, Balsam.
I was listening just now for a few seconds about the initiative of Uganda. I really love it. And I wish that I was in Kuwait watching the interview because it was very interesting.
That's wonderful. This is not the first time that you are with us, and I hope it won't be the last. So I'm going to make it quick because this is an international phone call. You call from Saudi Arabia. You know exactly what we were talking about, Seroptimist, and we're talking about women, and you were here a couple of months ago when we were talking about the same thing, when we need to educate, the society that the women are more important than men, and this is my opinion, because others think that, no, they should do this and that. We're not going to go through details. But now, we would like from you to tell us, you are involved in sports and you are trying to encourage other ladies, not to mention young girls, to get involved not only in sports in different areas. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, of course. If we will talk about sport in a special way. We are talking about two different aspects. The first one is the personal accomplishment, the personal achievement, and the personal support. This is number one. Number two, we're talking about the vision of the country, the vision of the government, the vision of the sports federations and committees. So there is a huge gap between both, because you can find a successful examples in sport who really, in female sports, who really achieved and made a very huge accomplishments on their career in a sports field, but there are any. The government is not aware of their accomplishments because they don't really build the vision of women's sport in the country.
I know. That's why we have Mrs. ALGHWAS, and she wants to intervene, and she has her own question. What is it?
No, I think for Balsam, how can we engage young girls in sports without them feeling that somehow they're going to be looked at in a strange way? Because I think that there's a lot of stigma about women in sports, that maybe they're boys or something, that they're still, I would like to know how Balsam, feels about that.
Balsam, are you listening?
Yeah, I didn't listen to the question.
Oh, sorry. So,
Okay. You have a question for her?
yeah, Balsam.
She made a comment. Now she has a
Yeah,
question.
so Balsam, how
Yeah.
can we get more young girls involved in sports without them being stigmatized?
Well, in the beginning, Dr. Stacey, we have to focus on the social base, the social initiatives, the social sport environment. You grow up in the U.S. and you know that the community service in each area had it is the powerful tool to discover the talented kids, because
True.
you see kids do soccer, badminton, any kind of sport. They gather and do sport, basketball. So the community service, the social sport, is one of the basic things that we have to focus on to build the girls' sport, because you cannot create a generation who believes in sport if they didn't get the support of the society.
Absolutely.
If they didn't get the support of their mothers and fathers. And if we want to build this generation, we're talking about a vision not less than 12 years.
Wow. So we have to start today.
Yes.
Balsam Al Ayoub, always a pleasure to have you right here on KTV2. Looking forward to meet you in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed, and all the best to Dr. Stacey, and hope to see you all soon.
She's in good hands
Inshallah.
with us
Thank
right
you.
here at KTV2.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
am.
That's a commercial, isn't it?
Thank you.
Anyway, now we have some quotes from very famous women in the world, such as Oprah and a lot more. So tune in and come back with us right here with Mrs. ALGHWAS.
Thank you.
Well, I'm a very curious person, and that curiosity really is, I think, at the basis for all the kinds of things that I like to try and experiment with and attempt, and we have a good time doing it. It's not so much being driven as much as being interested in a lot of different things.
The way through the challenge is to get still and ask yourself, what is the next right move? Not think about, oh, I got all of this stuff. What is the next right move? And then from that space, make the next right move and the next right move. And not to be overwhelmed by it, because you know your life is bigger than that one moment. You know you're not defined by what somebody says is a failure for you, because failure is just there to point you in a different direction.
Failure gave me an inner security that I had never attained by passing examinations. Failure taught me things about myself that I could have learned no other way. I discovered that I had a strong will and more discipline than I had suspected. I also found out that I had friends whose value was truly above the price of rubies. The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setbacks means that you are, ever after, secure in your ability to survive. You will never truly know yourself or the strength of your relationships until both have been tested by adversity. Such knowledge is a true gift for all that it is painfully won, and it has been worth more than any qualification I ever earned.
Alrighty, we were listening to some of the advisements from one of the famous women in the world, Oprah Winfrey and Martha Stewart, and etc. and etc. And we have one of the best in the state of Kuwait right here, Mrs. ALGHWAS, and all about women in the state of Kuwait. Okay, let's wrap up exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about that you have a club.
Yes.
Was started back in 1921
Yes.
in the world. And the first branch in the Middle East, it was in Abu Dhabi, correct? No,
Dubai.
Dubai. United Arab Emirates, all the same.
That's true.
And also you have a club right here, and you gave us points in how to become a member. Not me, just for women. You do not